What's up, guys? I know you hear a lot on YouTube about beast mode fragrances that last a long time. So it's time to put some context to what a beast mode fragrance is. I sincerely have, at least on my skin, 10 designer fragrances that last all day, 8+ hours, all 10 of them. Class is in session. Get out your pens, your pencils, markers. If you're a grown man still writing with a marker, but that's another topic for another day. Whatever it is you want to write with, take some notes. Class is in session. Let's go. What's going on YouTube? I'm the BowTie Fragrance Guy. Obviously, we talk about fragrances on this channel, but I'll throw in some fashion tips as well. I am a pretty stylish guy myself, if I must say so myself, but I also like to throw in some grooming tips as well. If you're going to smell good, I think it's important to look good. Seriously. I hope that's important to everybody. But again, another topic for another day. But you're into smelling good and looking good, make sure you hit subscribe. Don't forget to enable notifications by hitting the bell icon as well, so that way anytime a new video gets uploaded on this channel, you'll get notified. All right, guys, on today's video, I have 10 designer fragrances for you that last all day. All day meaning at least 8 hours. Most designer fragrances, especially a lot of the fragrances that are produced today, last between that 4 to 5.5, 6 hour time frame. That is most fragrances, okay? You're gonna notice a kind of a pattern with the fragrances on this list. Number one, most of them were created prior to 2021, and most of them are heavier, darker fragrances. Fragrances that have like amber, accord, iris, leather, and things of that nature. There are certain notes that are kind of serve as fixative notes that help a fragrance to last longer. So that's one of the things that you'll find with a fragrance that lasts a long time. Also, you're gonna find higher quality raw materials or ingredients that are used in these fragrances. That is thing number two. So you're not gonna find many aquatics or freshies or citrus-based fragrances that really last a long time, especially on the designer side of things. So just a few points of order before we get into it, but I have 10 that sincerely last all day. So if you want to see what I have on the list, you know the routine. Keep it locked right here. Let's get it. It's beast mode time. Let's go.
The BowTie Fragrance Guy.
All right, guys, we're back. Thank you so much for keeping it locked. Let's get right into it. Now, I want to make sure, again, I emphasize this. I will link all these fragrances to the video. I've been using the YouTube shopping option to tag fragrances. It's a lot easier, guys, because I can kind of compare prices when I tag them. So I try to scour and find the best price on each of these fragrances. So if you want to check any of these out, if they're available, I will link them in that little tab that says products down in the corner. This first fragrance comes from the brand of Tom Ford, and this is Black Orchid Parfum, or Eau de Parfum, I'm sorry. Black Orchid Eau de Parfum. This is dark truffle, ylang ylang, jasmine, and patchouli. This is so good. Now, I kind of got away from wearing this fragrance for a while because this is one that I do run into people kind of often that wears it, and it's a fragrance that is very easily to identify because it is a very unique scent profile. For a while I had the Eau de Toilette. When I first sampled this fragrance, this was way back in my early in my fragrance journey, I had sampled the EDP, which is what I have here, and it was a little too strong for me, so I opted to go with EDT. But now I love the fact that this fragrance lasts freaking all day. This is just a more intensified version of the original, and guys, this thing lasts all day on my skin. Another great thing about most of these fragrances are not only do they last a long time, they have really good projection. Most fragrances only project really well for about an hour, hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours, and they start to sit closer to the skin. This one, a lot of these fragrances give a good projection a little past that 2 hour, maybe 2.5 to 3 hours. And that's another great thing about them. So if you're looking for something that lasts all day, now, and keep in mind as well, sometimes it varies depending on if you have a newer batch and it's not quite done like an older batch was, or skin chemistry and stuff like that. But for the most part, most of these fragrances are gonna last for a long time. Check this one out from the brand of Tom Ford. Again, this is Black Orchid Eau de Parfum. All right, guys, the next fragrance comes from the brand of Costume National, a fragrance brand that honestly doesn't get talked about that much. They don't have a lot of fragrances in their portfolio, but they have enough. All of them that I've experienced are really good. And one that lasts a long time is this one. It's called Soul. This is called Soul by Costume National. This is oud, leather, patchouli, cardamom, and vanilla as some of the main notes. Man, this stuff is fantastic. Reminds me a lot of Gucci, what's the fragrance? Gucci Oud, the Gucci Oud fragrance. I've talked about it a lot. I don't know why the name is kind of escaping me right now. But this stuff is absolutely fantastic. It is smooth. It lasts a long time. Again, very high quality raw materials. You can tell were used in this fragrance. Dominique Ropion was actually the perfumer for this fragrance, and he absolutely knocked it out of the park. This is a tamed oud, so if you don't like those barnyard ouds, that's not this, but it smells phenomenal. A lot of people give a lot of credit to Versace Oud Noir, I think that's the name of it, as being a great designer oud fragrance, which is still pretty good, but this is the best. So check it out from the brand of Costume National. This is called Soul. Simply put, this next fragrance is one of the best designer fragrances ever created. Unfortunately, it's been discontinued, I think. Although, again, if I can find it, I'll link it. From the brand of Prada. This is Prada L'Homme Intense. This is a phenomenal fragrance. Tonka bean, leather, iris, and sandalwood are some of the main notes in this absolute masterpiece of a fragrance. And again, when a fragrance smells this good, I am super happy that it lasts a long time and I'm able to pick this fragrance up. It kind of wafts in the air as you're wearing it. Again, it is centered around that note of iris, so it's really powdery. I love the leathery touches here. Almost a smoky type leather undertone to this fragrance, but it's so balanced so well and rounded out by the smoothness of sandalwood and the sweetness of tonka bean. Absolute masterpiece of a designer fragrance, and it lasts all day from the brand of Prada. This is Prada L'Homme Intense. All right, guys, the next fragrance comes from the brand of Azzaro, and this is Azzaro's Wanted by Night. And what you get here is cinnamon, lavender, tobacco, leather, and incense. Some of the main notes, and this is, guys, this stuff is so good. I've been reading that some people said this stuff has been reformulated. I don't know about what bottle you may get your hands on, but I got this bottle. I think it was released in 2018. I got this around 2019. So this is one of the originals. And I will tell you, this thing is an absolute beast mode performer. One of the best fragrances on this list, we talk about projection. Man, I know for a strong 3 hours, you can really pick this fragrance up in the air. It's not hard to pick this one up, even for yourself, because sometimes we become kind of nose blind to stuff once we've had it on for a while. Not this fragrance right here. And again, it smells great. It's an amazing fragrance centered around the note of tobacco. And again, they don't really make stuff like this anymore, man. That's why, like, some of the newer iterations, like the Wanted and the Most Wanted, those fragrances, they're pretty good fragrances. But when you have classics like this from the earlier years, like the initial lineup, the original, and then this one, I mean, seriously, the other ones kind of fall flat compared to a fragrance like this. But if you're looking for a great performer, if you can get your hand on a batch that predated 2020, I'm pretty sure you see what I'm talking about. An amazing designer fragrance that lasts all day. Azzaro's Wanted by Night. All right, guys, the next fragrance comes from the brand of Christian Dior, and this is Dior Homme Parfum. This is one of the old bottles, guys, from around 2016. This right here is iris, leather, rose, and a slight touch of oud. Guys, I don't have the words to tell you how good this stuff is. I really don't. I'm pretty sure the new stuff smells almost the same as this. I'm pretty sure I haven't smelled it, but I don't know about the performance. This thing, easy 8+ hours on my skin. Projection is great that first 2.5-3 hours on this stuff, but it is just man, again, I hate to sound like a broken record, but they just don't make stuff like this anymore, man. They just don't. They just don't. And it's a sad commentary, but the reality is what the reality is. The facts are what the facts are. But again, man, you can get your hands on good stuff like this. See, I came into the fragrance game like, I think at the perfect time, able to grab some of those kind of classic things, and right before I think the era of time where they really started to, designer companies started to go to this copycat stuff. You know, they would come out with new fragrances, but it would be a new fragrance. It wouldn't be a flanker, it would be something different and something new. And I think they used better quality raw materials back then. But anyway, another topic for another day. An amazing performer from the brand of Dior. This is Dior Homme Parfum. Again, my bottle's from 2016. All right, guys, the next fragrance I think was released in 2018 or 19. Another classic, man, from the brand of Replica. This is By the Fireplace. By the Fireplace. This is chestnut, guaiac wood, cloves, Peru balsam, and vanilla. And this is, you know, regarded by many people as one of the best winter designer fragrances ever created. And I would echo and agree with those sentiments 100%, man. You get the chestnuts, of course, it gives that nuttiness to the fragrance. And then, of course, the Peru balsam and the guaiac wood is what really provides that smoky element. The cashmere is what gives the warmth to the smoke, creating the whole illusion of fire. And guys, this is just, like I said, look at the color of this juice. It is aged over time. It is aged like fine wine. And it is a great performing fragrance. Very nostalgic fragrance. Again, when this fragrance came out, man, and I know you have people that have been doing reviews longer than me that talk about the 2014, 15, 16 era. When there were like a very small group of people, but I came into that wave that was around 17, 18. And to me, there's some nostalgia there for me. But this was one of those fragrances that got a lot of hype back during that era of time, 2018, 19. And man, those were some good times with some great fragrances. Last all day long from the brand of Maison Margiela. This is By the Fireplace. This next fragrance is from the brand of Dior, and this is the most recently released fragrance on this list from 2021. This is Sauvage Elixir. Sauvage Elixir. And what you get here, guys, is cinnamon, nutmeg, lavender, sandalwood, and patchouli as some of the main notes. This is phenomenal. It's a twist, of course, on the original Sauvage with the spices primarily. As I stated, the cinnamon and nutmeg is really the focal points as far as additions to the Sauvage DNA, and they knocked it out of the park with this stuff. It fetched a pretty penny, and I think for me, this is when I really start to see designer fragrances start to really increase in price. I think this was around 150 bucks, 160 if I'm not mistaken. And now, of course, as Dior and Chanel have been the trendsetters, once they start to increase prices, and then we had all this other stuff going on in the world, all these other designer companies felt it was appropriate to do the same thing. Now we have designer fragrances going for 180, 170, 200 bucks. Crazy, but anyway. Sauvage Elixir, worth every penny in my opinion, because it is a fragrance that smells great and it performs all day long. All right, guys, the next fragrance is from a brand I don't talk about much on the channel. It's Miyake, and this is Noir Ombre. Noir Ombre, this stuff is fantastic. Saffron, cinnamon, leather, of course, amber. And you get the sweetness of tonka bean on the dry down. Fantastic. This fragrance was released in 2016. My bottle is from 2018. At points in time, this was a little bit harder to come by. Like I said, I'll see if I can link it. But guys, if you're looking for an amazing designer amber fragrance, this is one that you need to get your nose on. Again, sometimes things get reformulated. I don't know. You have to try to check batch codes and stuff like that, I guess. Checkfresh.com is a good place to do that if you want to check and see what your batch is or when it was actually made or created. But Noir Ombre from the brand of Miyake is an absolute gem of a fragrance. So check it out if you can find it and get your hands on it. Probably one of the best designer fragrances released in the year of 2020. From the brand of Cartier, this is Pochette de Cartier Parfum. Pochette de Cartier Parfum. I have 2 bottles of this stuff, and this is benzoin, sandalwood, tonka bean, and patchouli. I would say patchouli is probably the main note here, but this stuff is absolutely phenomenal. It is well done. Cartier is a brand that's been around for a long time, and to me, I can really tell there was some quality and raw materials used in this fragrance. Very, very high quality, and it lasts for a long time, and it smells very, very unique, especially when you compare it to a lot of other designer fragrances, man. When this came out, 2020 was a crazy year, and this one kind of flew under the radar for a moment. Then people started to really hear about it and get their nose on it, and would probably agree with me that it is very, very well done. Love the fact that it's centered around one of my favorite notes of patchouli, and that, of course, as I have stated what this video is about, it lasts all day long. So check it out from the brand of Cartier, Pochette de Cartier Parfum. All right, guys, and last but not least, another fragrance from the golden era, as I would deem this, of fragrances for designers from the brand of Valentino. This is Valentino Oud Intense. And this is iris, tonka bean, leather, and vanilla, centered around the note of iris and leather. Kind of similar to what you would get with some of the Noir Ombre fragrances and things of that nature. But this stuff is absolutely phenomenal, man. Again, when you talk about a fragrance that kind of fits into that same category of a Noir Ombre, Noir Ombre Parfum, and even, of course, I talked about earlier the Prada L'Homme line. All those fragrances kind of had that irisy thing going on, but this has an enhanced note of leather. Absolutely love this stuff. If you can find it, you know, that's always the key with a lot of these. It is worth the price of admission on this one because it lasts for a long time. From the brand of Valentino, this is Valentino Oud Intense. But that is it, guys. That is my time. I hope you enjoyed this video, as I gave you some designer fragrances that last all day long. What are some fragrances you have, designers that is, that last for a long time in your collection? I would love to hear from you down in the comment section. And as always, I sincerely appreciate you guys' time and your attention to these videos. I know you don't have to watch, but you do, and I sincerely appreciate that. Now, don't forget to take a few moments to like, comment, and subscribe. Please make sure you are sharing these videos out to some other folks that you think could use the information or find it entertaining. Because I'm your guy, Darian. I'm the BowTie Fragrance Guy. I love to look good, and of course, I love to smell fantastic. So until next time, keep looking good, keep smelling even better. I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.